Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Steve, K2GOG, with the Ulster and Northern Dutchess Readiness Group. Today's video is a little different in terms of a hands-on, top-down webcam view of our super portable logging network that we set up for events like Winter Field Day as well as ARRL regular field day, which just occurred this past June. So we've come to everything that we need self-contained in one small pouch. I'll take you through what's in here, and then in a second video, I'll walk you through how to get this set up with the N3FJP software to make sure that all of your logging computers are connected and able to log contacts in a multi-station type of event. So let's get going here. So in this small pouch, we have a number of different things. I'll take you through everything that you're seeing here. And first, we're going to start with the most important thing, which is a small travel router. This particular model is made by a company called GLInet. It's been around for a few years. This particular model is no longer manufactured, but they have replacements that are similar. The reason why we're still using this in one of our two kits is because it uses an older USB-C, or I'm sorry, a USB micro for power, and also this particular model also has a SD card, a micro SD card slot, which I'll explain about in a moment. So we'll come back to this because this is the most important piece in the kit. Next, we have a USB power pack or power brick. And with most of these, there's a fuel gauge that shows how much power is left in the charge. So we'll also come back to that. Next, in order to connect the two devices together, we have two cables. We could probably get by with one, but somehow cables somehow go missing. So we have two options. We have a short cable, and we also have a much longer one. And so for times where we may need to put the router somewhere further away from the power pack, the longer cable has come in handy, or for times where we may want to charge the power pack from some other device. Having an extra cable option we found is a good thing to have. Next, we have a USB power meter, and this has been really great because it allows us to see a little bit more what's going on in terms of current draw from the power bank to the USB router. So let me go ahead and plug this in so you can see what I mean. So let's use the short cable. Plug this in like so. And on this power bank, we typically see about 7 or 8 hours of use, but we also have experimented with some larger power banks. This one in particular is nice because it has a built-in solar panel for charging itself during day hours. And this one seems to get about 50% more runtime than the smaller one pictured. So the reason why I wanted to just give this a moment is it takes about a minute or so for the router to fully initialize. Once we start seeing the blinking lights, that means that the 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz access points have turned itself on. But what you'll notice in the, let's see if I get this lined up. So you can see, like right now, we're seeing a voltage output of 5.07 volts and about 400 milliamps or 0.4 amps. And so depending on what's going on the network, we can see how much current draw and how hard the router is working. So again, that helps us really do a good job of estimating runtime beyond just the built-in fuel gauge on the power brick. So let's see, this looks like it's fully on. Yep. So everything's fully on, and we can see that the current increase has gone up a little bit, about 500 milliamps or so. We spec this to about 600 milliamps just to estimate the runtime, and this has been more than adequate for events. So that's how we're powering this. Now we get to why do I have two different USB thumb drives. It's always good to have a backup for things, but you really only need one. So when you create a multi-user network, basically what we do is we plug the USB key into the router, And when we set things up in the device itself, essentially every computer that connects to this network, and we don't necessarily need internet, this is all off-grid, it's just creating an IP network for the computers running the N3FJP software to connect to, and then the file for the log is actually stored right on this USB thumb drive. So when somebody makes contacts on stations A and B and C and D, all those logs are directed to the same file, and that gets assembled into one uniform file, which makes it really easy to submit for logging credit for events like ARRL Field Day, as example. We could also, with the N3FJP software, set one of the computers up as a backup. So now we have the file in two places. One shared from all the computers onto one, and that's stored on a computer. And then we have the log also on this thumb drive. And I'll show you how to do that in a follow-up video. So that's why we have a thumb drive. And then finally, well, probably not needed because this has been reliable, but you never know when you need pens and paper. And so that's why we have a couple pens in here. This one even has a built-in light, which is kind of cool. So we got a couple pens, and no, we're not planning to skip the country. If you were wondering why I have 3 different color passports, these were just some fun, small, inexpensive blank notepads that I found at a local store here. So you never know when you need to have something to write with and something to write on. So having some paper, and again, I do not suggest to use paper for logging, but sometimes you need some paper. So this is good to have. But basically, this is the entire network. It's all self-contained. As long as we charge the power bank up before we're ready to go, everything else takes care of itself. And it's easy to connect pretty much any laptop to the wireless network. It gives us a pretty decent range with the small travel router for maybe for larger sites or larger events. We have a longer range, higher powered Wi-Fi router, but for smaller events, this kit has proved fine. And again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the part 2 of setting up the N3FJP software to log multiple computers with one shared network. Take care.